Greetings and welcome to another ObeLive. Tonight we're calling it Bang Big, as we are covering, among other subjects, we are looking at a comment made by, well, a couple of articles I came across that reference the beginning of time, the beginning of creation. You know how it is on like news websites where you click on one article and they deliberately put another article that will no doubt attract your attention, and that's what happened to me. And what did we start with? I think it was, what was the original post I saw? Let me see. It was to do with the possible ways that Earth could be wiped out, and actually totally unrelated to that, we also came across this article about, apparently, by all accounts, the world holds breath as Russia begins in quotation marks, of course, use of nuclear weapons capable of striking UK. By the way, does anyone else think Putin looks like a waxwork dummy? Every time I see him in photographs, all I can think of is like Madame Tussauds, where he just looks like, he could be made slightly out of candle wax, but then don't a lot of people that you see on television look like that? Yeah, where was the article? Hang on, let me find it. This was where we began. Oh, goodness me, it's a long article. I won't inflict you on all of it. Yeah. When all life on Earth disappears, scientists identify possible causes. How do you think they identified them? Just thought them up off the top of their head? Pretty much, as it would seem. We're given... I don't know if anyone's going to join us in the live chat tonight, but if you are tuned in and you want to say hello in the chat, it's great to know you're there, and give us some suggestions for possible ways that scientists identified how Earth is going to be wiped out. If you believe mainstream press, there's apparently a good chance that this guy's going to start launching nuclear missiles at people. To be honest, this is the same story that people that grew up in the 60s and 70s say, oh, we were all waiting for the Cold War. They even bought out, I remember I couldn't have been much more than 12 at the time probably, and saw a cartoon animated by Raymond Briggs, I think, the same person that animated The Snowman, another fairy tale by the way. And in this article it gave out possible, it was called When the Wind Blows. We'll look at that in one sec. And in the same way that the Snowman, if you've ever come across that, idyllic, it's a part of Christmas now, it's a staple of Christmas here in the United Kingdom, the TV programme, the short film Snowman, about a boy that built a snowman. It comes to life, takes him flying through the air, and he ends up visiting Santa Claus on some far-flung ice shelf or something or other. I'm not sure. Yeah, in fact, people that grew up in the 60s and 70s talked about they were constantly living in fear of nuclear weapons being used. It would appear not much has changed. I put nuclear weapons in the same camp as I put stuff like space rockets. They look very similar if you see them, if you look at the art, if you look at the artwork. Anyway, one subject at a time. I won't go too far ahead. As I said, if you're in the live chat, if you're watching live and you want to leave a comment in the chat about what possible causes scientists have identified to tell us how Earth is going to be wiped out, then feel free to leave your suggestions. We're going to have a quick look at, just this animated this animated film called When the Wind Blows, and it starts off very much, you know, like you would expect. Oh, by the way, the last live stream I did get cut down for, it was stopped right at the end because I was looking at copyright restricted content. So just in case that happens again, actually I think what we'll do is just look at stills, images. It's pretty haunting in the end, actually, what happens to this couple. They end up building a atomic shelter in their house and starving themselves. And from what I remember about it, you're not sure the way it's kind of shown if the nuclear war that goes on in When the Wind Blows is all in their head, and if they just imagined it and then they step out into the world very different people. Yeah, it's nonsensical. Goodness me, I'm getting a lot of rubbish on notifications from Skype at the moment. I'll try and shut that down if I can. Let me see how easy that is to do. Okay. As I said, the possible causes for Earth being coming to an end. Of course, they've got nuclear war as being a possibility. Do any scientists actually put their name to any of this stuff? We'll be interested to see. Nothing on Earth is eternal. Most people realise that sooner or later, humanity, like the rest of living organisms on our planet, may disappear. At the same time, various theories exist regarding possible reasons. So if you want to live in a world of fear where you're constantly thinking something's just about to wipe us out, this article would be right up your street. One possibility is an asteroid, a great big rock from the sky dropping on Earth. According to NASA data, I'm sure that's reliable then, our planet is struck by a large asteroid approximately every 100 million years. Because, you know, we were all around to verify that claim. Simulations conducted by researchers suggest that only a truly gigantic asteroid could wipe out life on Earth, so don't worry too much about that. A wandering star. A possible light in the sky may actually get too close to us, I think they're trying to say. Even though the stars are very much set in their path, they stay in the same, general locations throughout the year, looping round night after night. Oh, okay. Eric Mamayek from the University of Rochester was probably given a generous amount of funding to come up with some of these back in 2015. And they go on about a red dwarf star 70,000 years ago. Again, about as verifiable as the 100 million year asteroid scheduling. Right, and more animation just to get ourselves in the mood for that. Gamma rays apparently are another possible way we could all be trashed, which is the sun shining too bright, put it that way. Is that right? Electromagnetic radiation. Okay, my mistake. Basically, the thing that attracts magnets and compasses is going to become too powerful, and supposedly that could kill us, because magnetism is rays by all account. This article goes into so much gibberish. This video they're giving us on the screen, again, I don't want my stream shut down for copyright, so I do have to be kind of wary and cautious. If the stream does shut down, it will start up again once I turn off the video, so yeah, just be patient. I'll try and keep an eye on things. and not let that happen. Yeah, we've got Asteroid Man, followed by an advert. Yeah, this is a serious article, by the way, about how human beings could be wiped out. Since gamma ray bursts most frequently occur near the centre of the galaxy, Earth is relatively safe. Gamma rays, magnetism, I thought that was Earth. I didn't think there were any magnetic forces in the sky, but who knows? Scientists have identified it, so maybe you might want to trust these people. In theory, prolonged exposure to gamma rays could destroy the ozone layer. Yeah, that was another piece of rubbish we were told when I was, again, about the age of 12 or so, probably. Around the time that I came across When the Wind Blows, we were told about the ozone layer. Apparently had a hole in it the size of the Brazilian rainforest. And they back that claim up again with more pretty artwork. A supervolcano, of course, that might be something that will trash us. Again, a new one. Henrik Svensson from Oslo in Norway. The core, apparently the centre of Earth. The magnetic field deflects ionizing radiation from the sun. Do you hear what? Okay. Which would otherwise destroy the atmosphere. Since the magnetic field depends on the electromagnetic process in the outer core of the Earth, any changes to the core could potentially affect the magnetic field. Excuse me, by the way, throat's a little bit sore tonight, so if I have to hit the cough button once or twice, do forgive me. Let's see. Apparently, yeah, the oxygen might not last. We might run out of oxygen probably because there's too many people breathing. I guess they'll try convincing us one day that that's a real thing. Too many people breathing will cause the weather to get too hot, and all the oxygen will run out. Yeah, what nonsense. The sun, which is where tonight's thumbnail came from, by the way. Let's go back to that a minute. RCB Ukraine, UK, are the people that provided the animation for this article, just to let you know. Last and the most likely theory is that mankind will self-destruct. Well, life on Earth, of course. The claim is one day we'll be like what they tell us, Jupiter, Mars, any other supposed world in the sky that doesn't have life on it. That's what Earth will one day become, is the claim. Which, if you were depressed into believing this article, you might then take the next article I saw a little more seriously. You might buy this crap. Hang on. Let's make it a bit more legible. Stephen Hawking once gave a simple answer as to whether there was a God. Again, if anyone's tuning in tonight and they want to leave in the live chat, what do you think Stephen Hawking's answer was? 2, is there a God? Of course, if you're watching this after the stream, the comment section is there if you want to leave a comment. So, yeah, while you're considering that, what was Stephen Hawking's simple answer to whether or not there was a God? I take you to this article. Again, one article was linked to another. Oh, hang on. And this article by Seamus O'Reilly is talking about a conversation he had with his 5-year-old. Like most 5-year-olds, my son is engaged in a constant battle to say why until my brain explodes. The Big Bang is a recurrent endpoint to these queries. Every question this 5-year-old asks his dad, Seamus, he answers in basically, to do with creation, the meaning of life, the beginning, the Big Bang is this person's go-to response. Why is the sky blue? Big Bang. Why does the moon exist? The Big Bang was the answer. How or why it happened is a question so simple to answer that it gestures towards religious mystery. So I shouldn't have been surprised when he turned to me this week and said, "So, is God friends with the Big Bang? Did God create the Big Bang?" This phrasing caught me off guard. First, it implies he thinks of the Big Bang as a person, and my explanations of that event have been worse than I thought. Second, it suggests my son has been doing a little metaphysical thinking of his own, because he's come up with the thought that God may have been responsible, which is a natural response, I guess. Now, this article goes on to question the place religious education has in schools, and he occasionally comes home with tales from what I'd call the Old Testament's greatest hits: Noah and the Flood, Adam and Eve. Since his class is drawn from many backgrounds, the children learn about other faiths too, and he can reel off facts about Diwali, Ramadan, and Purim. He's heartened by this every time my education in Derry took place in Catholic schools, and 10% of my teachers were nuns or priests. They weren't especially dogmatic, but it's a monoculture I'd like my son to avoid, and my education was significantly more secular than my dad's. Gosh, my throat's struggling tonight. For whom every single secondary school teacher was a priest. Okay, I still don't know how I feel about RE in general. Learning about many faiths seems favourable, and it wholly true, but part of me can't shake an unease towards the form of compulsory religious education. I try to be consistent with my son about my own views as someone who does not believe in a literal deity, in other words, doesn't believe in God. But I don't want him to stifle or ridicule the meaning others take from it, or miss out on digesting the useful truths that can be gleaned from foundational texts. This Seamus tells himself his child's only 5 and he's got a whole lifetime to riddle these things out for himself, suggesting that at some point he'll come on to the same view as his father, that there is no God. That's pretty much what we're saying. And who can blame these kids when people like Professor Stephen Hawking is given as an authority on the existence of God? Bear in mind, I will make one point. Everyone who exists that ever makes a claim that there is no God, just remember the Holy Scriptures. People putting their faith in Yahushua will be around a lot, long after this person's gone, and has been around long before they were even a twinkle in their parents' eye. Let's see what conclusion Stephen Hawking came to. People have been returning to Stephen Hawking. If you're not familiar with him, he was the physicist who wrote a load of doctrine on subjects such as the beginning. Right, the astrophysicist gave the world so much before his death, and he had had ominous messages for the future too, not least warning against trying to communicate with alien civilizations and trying to warn us what a future with AI could bring. Bear in mind, Stephen Hawking could be programmed to say anything they want. whoever's controlling that recorded voice is controlling the message. So yeah, bear that one in mind. He wrote, for centuries it was believed that disabled people like me were living under a curse that was inflicted by God. Yeah, find that in the Holy Scriptures, by the way. Disabled people are being punished by God. That is not in there, I can tell you that. Well, I suppose it's possible that I've upset someone up there, but I think to that, everything can be explained another way by the laws of nature. If you believe in science, like I do, is science a belief? You believe that there are certain laws that are always obeyed. If you like, you can say that the laws are a work of God, but that is more a definition of God than a proof of his existence. Considering the possibility of God existing, he went on to write, we're each free to believe what we want, and it's my view that the simplest explanation is, there is no God. Of course, Stephen Hawking belonged to a group of people who have the task of convincing the masses that creation has no creator, which is as insane as it gets. I've a few times offered the analogy. In fact, go into my channel. Let me do that. We haven't done that yet. That's normally the first thing we look at. But a long time ago, I did a live stream on the subject of... it was about a sofa maker, actually, and how they were acknowledging our creator. So if I go to my live streams... Let's see. I'm sure it was a live stream. It was called Sofa Ad Acknowledges Our Creator. Maybe it wasn't then. Maybe it was an old live stream I did years ago. It's up here somewhere. Where are we? Hopefully it's not already been removed, but strange. Cannot find it. Okay. We will have to come back to that one maybe. Chances are I have already clicked on it, but just missed it. We'll see. Right. Where is it? I'm going to find it, no matter what. Let's see how easy it is for me to find my... Here we go. Sofa Ad Acknowledges Our Creator. 5 years ago I put this video up. It was one of the early uploads to this channel. And I made the point about if a travel agency had sold you a holiday and you were told you'll be the first person ever to set foot on an island, no one's ever been there before, and you set foot on this island and come across, let's say, some stones put in the sand which spell out the word welcome. And you think, well, that's kind of odd. I've been told no one's ever set foot on this island before. Therefore, how could anyone have spelled that out? And anyway, so you say, okay, there is a slight possibility, just by chance, these stones happen to spell out this word. Let's carry on onto this island, have a look round. And then you see so a load of trees have been cut down, and out of the wood a house has been made. Let's illustrate what I'm saying. Wooden hut on... Yeah, you see something fairly primitive, fairly simple, created like this. So you go back to the travel agent and say, yeah, there is not a chance I'm the first person that set foot on this island, because, you know, there's things have been created there, there's houses have been built. And your answer is, well, no one's ever been on that island. The chances are it created itself. It's ridiculous. Yeah, the most simplest creations on Earth. Let's take something like a jam sandwich. It is the fastest, easiest thing I can think of that you could create. And again, you go into this wooden hut and there is a jam sandwich laid out in front of you. It would be utterly, completely implausible to ever suggest that that sandwich wasn't created. However, according to our friend Stephen Hawking, is this the right article? Nope. The simplest explanation is that there's no God. So just like Seamus, who wrote the article, referencing his son, asking, you know, him answering everything to him, Big Bang, Big Bang, Big Bang. Bear in mind, Big Bangs, explosions, don't create anything. They, of course, destroy things. So, Big Bang, random creation, creation without a creator, utter nonsense. Creators, you know, 100% a requirement for anything, right down to that jam sandwich. Just bear that in mind. Okay, I think, before we wrap up for tonight, I've now started a channel over on Rumble, because, and it looks like they do live streams. So I've started uploading a couple of things. I've got 2 followers already, thanks to whoever they are. I'm going to put a link. I know no one's in the live chat. Never mind, I can live with that. Maybe I'll start streaming on Rumble. And perhaps, yeah. So, not saying definitely. I will certainly give it a try. If you want to see how I get on Rumble with a live stream, the link is not only in the chat. Oh, I can't leave links in the description anymore, so yeah, if you're on Rumble, check it out, ObeLive. And it would be great to see you. Yeah, there's a few other platforms you can find me. The links will be somewhere. Okay. Oh, last thing actually, I'm going to shut down in a minute. I made this video a while back about colour coding when you see things on the TV, on news, that sound really unpleasant and depress you a bit and make you think that the world's going crazy. Look out for the colour red, because, you know, red clothing, red vehicles. It was the subject of last week's live stream. Anyway, I came across this. Goodness me, my throat's starting to go. Where are we? I will get there in a minute. Okay, a Great Yarmouth police officer appears to strike a disabled man. Oops, what have they done? Press the wrong button. Here we have some footage that supposedly took place in Norfolk. No, where a police officer very nicely batters a guy in a wheelchair. The footage is horrible. What do you think was the first thing I noticed when I watched this video? Hang on, can we make it full screen? Wow, that's not full screen. This is as big as it gets, I'm afraid. I hope you can see it alright. Oh no. That's annoying. It's gone on to another article. How do I lose that? There we go. yeah, what do you think I saw first in this article? It's got to be that red car. On its own, it's not enough to to prove something's a sham. But it's hard to ignore that it's always there. I hope yeah, like I said, it's not enough. But what are the odds? If you read this article, it sounds like a guy was sat in the middle of the road with a bottle, and a witness said the man who has one leg was in the middle of the road holding a bottle of alcohol. An officer arrived on the scene outside a Londis and starts doing this to the guy. I don't know. Take it all with a pinch of salt, because it's usually the case that, I don't know, my experience with the press, even local news, seems to be completely fabricated and fixed. But you'll have to make your own mind up on that. Okay. I will be wrapping up. No one at all took part in the live chat. Never mind. That does mean, of course, I have to call tonight's live stream the first sign of madness, and see if I do better on Rumble with my next live stream. Perhaps we'll see. Okay, if you want to save me from calling this live stream the first sign of madness, because talking to yourself is the first sign of madness, and if no one says hello in the live chat, I'm basically talking to myself. So, especially with such a bad throat as well. Come on, give us a right. Either way, we're going to wrap up for the night before my throat totally dies. Before we go, if you enjoyed the stream and you want to show your appreciation, whack that thumb up button, please. Before you finish. And thanks also to the names on the screen. They have been good enough to say, to show me some appreciation and support. I used to say check out the links in the description, but as I say, I can't leave links in the description here anymore. I do have that option on Rumble, so I think I'm going to be checking out Rumble next time, as soon as I get my voice back. Right. We're going to say over and out. Thank you for tuning in. And take care. Good night. Oh, as always, observe the Sabbath day. Start sundown tomorrow. Right, over and out. Over and out. Good night.